Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the integrative activity number 2 for the MOOC course. My name is Carolina Suarez Vargas. To say something that is very important for me, it's a very nice phrase that I like, that it says, always say what you mean and mean what you say, but don't say it in a mean way. This is a phrase that I like to say to my colleagues, especially English teachers, because for me it is so true. Well, in the first part, so our teacher gave us three different topics or problems in order to look for solutions or to let them know how to solve them. In the first place, the first problem says that me as teacher, I was asked to speak more in English in my class. So, in first place, I would like to use some strategies. In the first part, I would like to introduce classes by means of videos, visual aids, fun and entertaining activities, such as use slides or posters, use fun warm-ups using basic English words, or let students read what you have to say in class. Because when the students know what you are saying, they can understand it better, and you are using the English language. Taking into account that in this case, the students don't have a high level of English. The second part, based on the Future Learn platform, which says that we have to give clear instructions. So it's just, and in this platform, this course, they say that it's important to give clear instructions so that learners understand the task that you want them to do. So it's very important to make sure that we have everyone's attention before to start giving instructions, that in order to the students to understand what the teacher says, we have to use gesture and body language, use a simple language, and also always give a demonstration, either yourself, it says, or with a strong learner. So we can use a student to give an example, or we model the instruction what you want. So in this way, we are using more English into the classes. So giving instructions in English is very important, so the students can understand what we want to do in the classroom. And problem number 2, in which there are 4 students who always work together and they are not well behaved. They are so undisciplined. So, okay, I would like to improve this situation and I would like to read this part of a paper that I wrote. Taking into account the different strategies teachers should use in class for asking students to work on different activities, in a case like that, if I want a group work, I need my students thoroughly focused on the topic and the drill, so that I would use different pieces of papers of different colors, blue, red, black, yellow, or green, for example. So let's say that I have 25 students in class and they're going to make groups of 5 students. I will need the undisciplined students working apart, so each student of the class will choose one piece of paper with a color, and in my instruction will be addressed to the students to meet based on the color they have. So I will have the students working together to start with the class, and they will be able to learn better and share with the rest of the group. So this is a strategy that I use. We can use it always also with numbers. So they just choose one number from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, depends on the amount of students, and depends on the activity that I want to do. So that I'm not going to have the same students working together all the time, and they are going to work with other students, and they're going to be focused on the activity that I want to develop in the class. So after working with this, of course, I expect to see my students that are very deeply involved in their work. So my students know what is expected of them. So they're generally successful if I have students focused on the activity. So there is relatively little wasted time, confusion, or disruption if I do this, but it's useful at the end because I'm going to get a product. And obviously, the climate of the classroom is work-oriented, but relaxed and pleasant because they have an activity to do, and I'm not going to be in class calling the attention of the students. I mean, on me, but they are focused on the classmates, or we are not. Or I am not going to be focused only in those students who don't behave well. And problem number 3. In your class, there are some students that manifest that they hate English, that sometimes it happens, and that they do not want to learn it. So they are not really engaged into the activities. What can you do to motivate them? So I made a stop here, and I decided to search and to do some research deeply, because motivation is a very difficult topic to grasp, because it depends on many external internal things into the classroom and out of it. So first of all, we have to take into account what an effective teacher is. So an effective teacher has a positive expectations for student success. An effective teacher is an extremely good classroom manager, and an effective teacher knows how to design lessons for student mastery. So it's very important to get motivation of the students. So in the first part, design lessons to enhance the students' learning. This is very important to get motivation. In the second part, thinking about lesson planning. So we have to do some pre-questions. For example, ask pre-questions. Who am I planning for? So we have to take into account what is our audience for the class, and what am I supposed to do? So I have to plan. So in this case, we have to use pre-planning strategies. For example, determine the learning styles of your students, determine reading levels and skills of the students, inventory access to technology. So I have to know if I have access to technology or not. To connect writing to what is being taught. So I know I need to write, right? Focus on academic expectations and core content. So I need to know what the objective is going to be, and what is my expectation about the content I'm going to teach. Establish a variety of instructional strategies. So instructional strategy is very important for let the students know what they have to do and what they have to do, obviously. So if I find unmotivated students, it's obviously I'm going to find certain problems, and obviously I'm going to look for something that is my objective. So for example, there is an attention, so focus attention on key elements of activity. So if I do this, I'm going to make the students to be a little bit more passive, and they're going to pay attention in the class. So develop a mental map with the students. So obviously, if they have minimal problem solving skills, so I'm going to work on that, and they're going to feel more motivated. I have to facilitate routine success. So if they feel motivated, and if they are dependent, they're independent into the classroom. Help the students self-monitor performance. So obviously in this case we have to take into account the usability versus effort as a problem. So they have to know what they have to do into the class, and they have to evaluate what they're going to do, and they have to check if they're doing well or not. So in that case, they're going to see what their process is. So I'm going to go back a little bit in this part, because if they don't like English, obviously the teachers have to take into account that planning a very successful lesson is important. Obviously, we don't know when our class is going to be or not a successful one, but since my point of view, if we really think about the lesson planning, and we use these steps, we're going to be successful, and we're not going to have a motivated students into the class, and we're going to make the students to like English at least a little bit, or we're going to make the students learn and to be successful in their academical process. And thank you very much.